I do want to make light of it. Practicing against this. What are the drills to practice against the stiff arm? What is that?
Eyes on the thighs, Dan. Eyes on the thighs.
What is that? Come on.
Yeah. Well, by the way, I've talked to some people. They said they've never heard it around the league, even people practicing for stiff arm. The Jaguars did that, which means Derrick Henry's in their head.
Which means that's why we're 1-11.
Yeah. All right. Hey, listen. Here's the cool thing.
Yes.
It's an odd thing, right?
Yeah.
People around here don't like the Titans. The
Correct.
Jags have been awful against the Titans.
Yes.
So it's hard to root for Derrick Henry if you're a Jags fan.
Yeah.
But he's quickly becoming one of the all-time greats. He already is one of the all-time greats to come out of Jacksonville. Look what he did in high school. Over 12,000 yards. National high school record. And Dan?
He was the greatest high school running back ever.
Ever.
Now, he had a little bit of an advantage in terms of the competition that he was playing. But against the big boys, he still ran for 300, 400, 500 yards a game. Remember that Jackson game? He ran for like 507?
He averaged 9.3 yards a carry.
Yeah. But you know,
first down almost.
You know who else averaged about 10 yards a carry in high school? James Robinson.
Yeah, very good point. And then he went to college. Everybody said, he's going to move to linebacker. He's so big.
Yeah.
No, he's going to win a national championship and a Heisman Trophy. 5 years ago, he won a Heisman Trophy.
Great player. Great player in college. I still remember him running all over the Gators in the SEC championship.
And then you go to the NFL, and you kind of, he's slow start. They almost traded him.
Yeah.
He was on the trade block. And then he got it going last year, and look what he's been able to do. I mean, ever since second half of last year to now, you could argue he's the best running back in the league.
And he deserves all the glory that he gets, all the money that he gets, all the play that he gets, because he's such a humble kid and he's a hard worker. That's what I've said the story a million times, but you remember going up to Yulee and he'd always be pushing a truck around the track.
That's true.
It's unbelievable.
But then he's been
Who
this
does
big.
that?
He's been this big, by the way, since 8th grade. And if he didn't have that helmet on, we'd be celebrating the heck out of him.
Yeah, for sure.
It's time for the game plan, sponsored by TIAA Bank.
All right, game plan one. Let's surprise the Titans secondary. They struggled against the Browns passing game last Sunday, letting Baker Mayfield throw balls out to numerous weapons in their 41-35 win. Mike Glennon is able to sit in that pocket and rip some balls to DJ Chark and maybe Keelan and maybe Laviska and Colin Johnson. The Jags have a chance to throw off the Titans secondary. Titans defense is not great.
No, it really isn't. You usually think it's good, but it's not.
Nope.
Game plan 2. Is it too optimistic to say welcome back Saxonville? Yes, it is. The defense has been improving since the bye week, but the bar was not set high.
Yeah.
7 turnovers, 9 sacks since the bye, and a season-high 4 sacks in a loss to Minnesota this past Sunday. And remember, though, Vikings' offensive line not very good.
Yeah.
Titans' offensive line pretty good. Part of the Jaguars' defensive improvement, defensive end DeJuan Smoot, 4.5 sacks this season. And also, Joe Schobert's coming to play now. He's over 100 tackles on the year, and the last couple of games have been good by Schobert, including a pick 6 last week in the loss to the Vikings.
Once again, Gardner Minshew will be sitting and waiting to get back in the game. Earlier this week, he told ESPN that he begged for his job before the Browns game, which was now 2 weeks ago. Clearly, there is a disconnect between coaching staff and Gardner Minshew, Brent. That's obvious. You heard Coach Gruden's comments about the, quote, so-called thumb injury in his press conference. He corrected himself. But nonetheless, you can see something is not right there in terms of what Gardner does and what the coaches think of him.
As this regime most likely winds down, maybe this is an exclamation point on a 4-year span where communication was such a problem.
Right.
And this week maybe puts that exclamation point on it. Why is Gardner Minshew talking to the media about this and saying, begging? He looked perturbed at it, even though he was trying to highlight a community event that he was doing. He knew he was going to be asked these questions.
Of course.
Doug Marrone is saying things like he gives us the best chance to win in Mike Glennon, and this guy already has more wins in his career than Mike Glennon does have in 7 years.
Yeah.
And then Jay Gruden's like, I'm just telling it how it is, man.
Yeah, but he can tell you how it is all you want. You could clearly listen. We watched. We knew Gardner Minshew wasn't the same quarterback throwing the football after he injured the thumb than he was beforehand.
Yeah.
His numbers went down. He was sailing footballs. You could tell it bothered him.
And there's a lack of trust between the quarterback and the coaching staff. How about some injuries today to keep an eye on in this football game? The big one, Brandon Linder.
Yeah,
he will not play.
Yeah, he's out.
And fortunately, it wasn't as bad as it looked at the time.
Right, could have been worse.
Here's some of the inactives. Jake Luton, obviously a third quarterback. Luke Barku will not play. Quincy Williams will not play. Tyler Davis won't play as well for the Jags.
Sidney Jones back in the lineup, which is good.
Yeah, that's a good sign. He was playing pretty good football.
Right.
And he'll be tested against A.J. Brown and others today.
Nothing to complain about when it comes to winter ball in Florida.
It's been a little foggy in the area, especially this morning.
Yeah.
Let's bring in Action News Jax First Alert meteorologist Corey Siva with your game day forecast.
Hey guys, another pretty nice day for football here in Duval, keeping in mind that it's snowing in some other spots of the country. Meanwhile, we're in Florida and we have the 70s today. There will be a mix of clouds and sun out there, some lingering fog during pregame right up to kickoff, but that fog is going to clear. It's not going to be a problem. It is going to be partly to mostly cloudy, some peaks of sun here and there. Temperatures in the middle 70s though, not much wind. Great weather out there at TIAA Bank Field today. Let's go Jags, or maybe not. Guys, back to you.
Wow, Simba!
He's on board!
Coming up on Countdown to Kickoff, playoff week for the fantasy coaches. Maybe Weber does in the postseason. We will see coming up next.
Taking a live look. Anybody using the pools these days? Probably not.
No.
Jaguars and Titans.
Are they allowed in the pools?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
1 o'clock on CBS 47.
Now, back to Action Sports Jax. Countdown to Kickoff. Driven by your local Ford dealers.
Looks like a pretty nice day at the bank, right?
Fog's rolled off.
Yeah, we'll see you out there. It's a live look at TIAA Bank, Jags and Titans coming up 1 o'clock on CBS 47. By the way, just a note, we'll talk about this. If the Cincinnati Bengals beat the Dallas Cowboys, you could start rooting for the Jags down the stretch because they could actually win 2 games and still hold the number 2 spot.
That'd be fun.
The Jets' dreams are over, Danny boy.
They're not over. They are not over. How dare you do that? That part you must hold steadfast and be okay. They've got the Patriots. Not today, Seattle. Not the Rams. But the Browns, probably not. But the Patriots game at the end, keep an eye out on it. You heard it here first.
All right, let's take a look around the NFL. And this guy, my gosh.
We're on TV now, right?
Yes, we are.
Okay, thank you. I won't say it.
I think people have disdain the last couple of years for Todd Wash, a Jags defensive coordinator.
Oh.
They hate this guy more.
Yeah, but they ran him out pretty fast, didn't they?
They did.
That was, as Rex Ryan said, the worst call he's ever seen in 30 years of being around the NFL.
Made no sense.
Cost, he did the Jets a solid in essence, but he did the Jags a huge negative. How do you blitz the whole house and leave a poor undrafted rookie corner against Henry Ruggs?
More emotional. This one hurts for the Eagles. Quarterback Carson Wentz, he is out. There's some reports out that Jalen Hurts is starting, but there's some reports that he's going to finish the season too. They're going to give him the rest of the season. And Carson Wentz maybe get a mental break here because it's been a tough going for him.
Not sure I've ever
paid him a ton of money.
Not sure I've ever seen a quarterback fall so fast, so far as Carson Wentz has, considering he was an MVP candidate 2 years ago.
Unbelievable.
And even last year he had like 27-7.
And he's worth a lot of money.
Busy week for Des Bryant?
Yeah, tested positive for COVID-19 before that NFL game. Of course, that was on Tuesday night. Taken out of warm-ups, tested negative 3 times. After that, basically said he quit the NFL.
He's back.
Now he's back.
He quit the NFL about 3 years ago. He's got 4 catches for the Ravens in 3 games, so not much.
Bill Belichick isn't pressing the panic button after Cam Newton's lackluster Thursday night's game.
This is good.
Lost 24-3.
This is
Newton
good.
benched
Good
in the
sign.
4th for Stidham.
Yeah.
But Cam Newton is a shell of himself.
Yeah, but I don't get all the people saying, "Oh, Belichick, why is he?" Belichick knows what he's doing. Do you think if he must know that Stidham's no good either? Is my point.
Absolutely.
Come on,
Cam still
What
gives
are we
you the
doing?
best chance.
Yeah, we can run him a little bit. Maybe he can run in a couple touchdowns. We can win a couple more games. I still think Belichick's done an unbelievable job with that team. All the guys who opted out, all the injuries, all the guys who left, and no Tommy.
He can coach.
Yeah.
It's the start of the playoffs for those fantasy football coaches out there. Did you make
Oh.
it? In these crucial times, it's best to get all the help you can get. We
Well,
call
we-
this help on the show?
Yeah, I guess. We don't know if Dr. Fantasy is the right choice, but here he is for your start him and sit him.
Decided to do the fantasy segment up here in the stands with some of my biggest fans because you know what? Cardboard cutouts don't mock you when you get things wrong, which seems to happen on a weekly basis, but not this week. All right, let's go with some of your fantasy starts and sits. The starts are pretty obvious for both sides. I mean, you got to start the running backs on both sides of this one. Derrick Henry for the Titans. Yes, the Jags held him under 100 the first time around. I don't think that happens in this affair. And James Robinson, you know they're going to give him the rock, especially if the fog stays. We'll see how that works with the weather moving forward in this game. As for the sits, for the Jaguars, I don't know about the DJ Chark start. Yes, he's the best wide receiver on the team, but not while Mike Glennon is the quarterback. That has certainly been something to keep an eye on because he hasn't been getting the targets. They've been going to guys like Colin Johnson. Even Chris Conley's been getting a few targets during this Mike Glennon time of the Jacksonville Jaguars. So those are some starts and some sits as we head into this matchup against the Tennessee Titans. Let's go back to you.
All right, coming up on Countdown to Kickoff. Snow or sun? Broadway or First Street? We're putting a plot twist on who has it better. We have to. By comparing Nashville to Jacksonville. A battle of the Vills coming up.